Cool.
So then, AJ, do you want to explain to make sure to end everything with a semicolon?
Yeah, sure. So we've got a selector, a curly bracket opening, and then I'm going to jump down to the wrap. He's got a what's called a property and then a value. So width is width, and then the value could be all sorts of things. It could be in pixels or percentages. It could be 800, 600, whatever. At the end of a definition, he has to put a semicolon, and then he can do another property, colon, value, semicolon. Property, colon, value, semicolon. And then it's all wrapped up in a curly bracket.
Yep.
So this red disk icon, what does that mean?
It means that the file hasn't been saved yet.
Okay, so let's save it and preview.
Yeah, so you can press Control S, and then AJ, since you have a mouse, do you
Oh, okay, sure. So it turns blue, and then, so let's go to my leader. This is what it looked like before, and watch what it looks like with just a little bit of CSS. Oh, something didn't work, so let's double check. Everything's saved. Let's see. Let's make sure we're on the right file, so I'll just open it up again. So we have style.css and about me. I was expecting at least the background image to appear. Let's see, images, pattern.jpg. Well, I'm confused. What happens often in CSS, this is not actually all that surprising to me, or to us. What happens often is you type stuff up and you think it's going to work, and all of a sudden it just doesn't do anything. So I'm just checking all the little things since we're typing live in front of you. Why don't we just put the rest of the CSS in and see what happens? Not sure where we have. Oh, it's in Canvas.
Yep. So then we're going to go ahead and go to Canvas. And then you'll see here that there's already a file, CSS file created for it. So then I'm going to go ahead and press that. Download. And then it's downloaded. But we have to move it to the desktop.
Yes.
So then, let's see where it went.
Try.
We can search it.
Style, sure. There it is.
So here it is, and then we can move it to the desktop.
Cool.
Move that. So then, if we go back here to the desktop, we can open it with Notepad++. And so here is the file that was downloaded from Canvas, and then here's the one we're working on. As you can see here, in the first 3 lines there isn't a difference, they're the same. So we have to finish up what we have left. So then we're going to go ahead.
Can we just replace all of it just to make sure it's actually working pretty well?
So then we Control C. And then replace everything.
And so when you're a designer of web pages, this code is something that you spend hours and hours perfecting and trying things out.
Yeah.
But we know that this works from the work we've already done to create this initial website.
Yeah.
So let's try saving that, and hopefully this should apply to the About Me page if everything else is correct. Let's cross our fingers. Yeah, so there's something that's just not quite catching, and I'm not sure what it is. This is an issue of massive proportions. Let's just do replace the file and see if this helps. It helps. So I've actually run into this before, and I'm kind of glad it happened in this video. If ever your CSS isn't working first off, do what we did. We wrote a couple lines and then we tested it. And when we were testing it, we found out, hey, it's not really working, but we can go ahead and type it anyway because in the end, it's just typed up code.
Yeah.
If you notice, if I go to my leader, it's going to look like the old way of looking. Because we haven't linked the CSS yet. So it's nice to test on just one of your pages just to make sure it works before you put in all the effort of, banging your head against the wall and searching Googles and everything. So what I've done in the past is I just have deleted my file and started a brand new one, and somehow that fixes it. And I think this has something to do with my web browser not quite refreshing what it's looking at. But regardless, we fixed the issue by just replacing the file. Another way to do that would be copy and paste, copy all of your text. You can do Control A, Control C, delete the file, make a new one, and then paste it. So anyways, to wrap up what we have to do today, could you show everyone how to move this
Yep. So then
code to the other pages?
To make sure that it's applied to the rest of the pages, you can highlight that, Control C, and then just make sure you're locating in the same place for the rest of them. Save. Control V, Control S, and then Control V and Control S.
Excellent. So now that we've linked it all on those pages with that one line of code, it actually looks like a pretty nice page. And just to really show this off, if I were to just delete a whole bunch and hit save, that's going to affect every single page. Similarly, if you added a whole bunch. So now all the pages look different again. So that's the power of CSS. Hopefully demonstrated well enough, as well as file structure, and some CSS code a little bit. So thank you so much for your time today. Is there anything else you wanted to say about CSS or file structure, any of that?
Yeah, just make sure you're paying attention to the little details. Mistakes like this can happen. So if you ever have a question or anything, make sure to reach out to us.
Awesome. And I'll just wrap up by saying once you have everything working and your website looks like ours, we'd love to see what you have. So make sure at the very end you right-click, go to the zip file on your machine, go to Add to Archive, name it whatever you want. At this point you could rename it so that we know it's from you. Hit OK, and then send us that file through Canvas. Thank you all, and see you next time.
Bye.